My wife's cousin has started manipulating her. She and her husband have an open marriage, so she is imposing this on my wife and manipulating her. Laying down ceramic tiles, each 5 by 5 inches, in a 12 by 14 kitchen, was no small feat. Michael Bennett carefully spread adhesive on each tile and meticulously aligned it with the previous one. He felt a sense of accomplishment, knowing that even the slightest misalignment could compromise the entire project. At Bennett's Renovation and Modeling, where complete satisfaction was the standard, Michael ensured every tile was perfectly placed before moving on. Just as he was finishing a row, his wife Lisa called the office on his behalf. Michael picked up the call, ready to start the next row of tiles. The warm greetings from Lisa were a thing of the past. Now her questions were short and impatient. She asked how much longer he would take. Michael estimated about 4 more hours in the Smith's kitchen. Lisa hung up abruptly, leaving him feeling the pressure to hurry. Despite wanting to finish quickly, Michael made himself work with careful precision. As he worked, memories of his wife of over 25 years floated through his mind. He first met Lisa at Bennett's Renovation and Remodeling during his early days on the job. She walked into the office apologizing for her poor performance at Carter High School. Michael noticed her stout build and long, wavy hair, but quickly refocused on his tools. Mr. Bennett sharply reminded him that Lisa was his daughter. "Yes, sir," Michael replied, resisting a shrug. Noticing her father's reluctance, Lisa began to flirt and smile at Michael whenever they crossed paths. He remained polite, but didn't encourage her. "You understand, right?" Mr. Bennett warned. "I don't want you chasing after my daughter." "I'm not pursuing your daughter," Michael assured him. In truth, 23-year-old Michael found 19-year-old Lisa a nuisance. She was overweight, had severe acne, and her immaturity was a turnoff. "Hey, Michael," Lisa said one day coyly, while he and another employee unloaded equipment. "Uh-huh," Michael responded, struggling with a bag of quick-drying cement. "I turned 20 on Saturday," she said, leaning forward, giving him a clear view down her blouse. "That looks nice," Michael said. "Happy birthday," another coworker added. "So, Michael, what's my birthday present?" Lisa teased. "Close your eyes," Michael instructed, dragging his bag to the truck's rear door. "Sure thing," Lisa giggled. "What do you see?" Michael asked as he tossed the bag into the vehicle. Nothing," she replied. "That's your gift." "Happy birthday," he said, dragging the bag towards the barn. Mrs. Bennett insisted that Mr. Bennett invite Michael to their home for Lisa's birthday. Michael bought a nice card from a stationery store and a silver bracelet from a pawn shop. Mrs. Bennett then pushed Mr. Bennett to ask Michael to take Lisa to the prom. Despite cringing at her tight, sleeveless dress, Michael dutifully escorted her, posed for photos, danced, and kissed her goodnight. Days later, Mr. Bennett scolded Michael for not calling Lisa, which broke her heart. Reluctantly, Michael asked her out again, leading to more dates. On the 5th date, Lisa gave Michael her virginity. Emily Bennett was born 6 months after their wedding. For the next decade, Michael endured the most undesirable tasks at Bennett's Renovations and Remodeling. He believed Mr. Bennett deliberately secured tough jobs just to burden him. Throughout their first 18 years of marriage, Lisa tried to be a good wife, learning his likes and dislikes, cooking his favorite meals, and keeping quiet during New York Giants games. She made efforts to lose weight with limited success, and though her skin improved, acne scars remained visible. When Emily started attending Lincoln Elementary School, Lisa got a job at the Cedar Park Public Library. Despite its modest pay, the comprehensive health and dental benefits were valuable. Shortly after their 18th wedding anniversary, Lisa's cousin Megan moved to Aspen, Colorado, with her latest husband. Megan's loud, crude nature influenced Lisa negatively. She became brash, complained constantly, and neglected household duties, including cooking. Michael, proficient in cooking and cleaning, didn't mind taking on more work. But what started as occasional neglect turned into a nightly routine. Lisa, Megan, and Logan often found activities outside the Bennett house, leaving Michael to manage everything. Meanwhile, Emily learned to do household chores and sew buttons on her uniform, resenting her father for her mother's neglect and instead of blaming Lisa. Michael's timing was nearly perfect. 4 hours after Lisa's call, he finished the threshold installation. Struggling with stiffness in his back, Michael reflected on his age while gathering tools and remaining tiles from the Smith house. When he contacted Mr. Bennett, Michael winced at the man's slurred speech. a result of a near-fatal blow that left him recovering slowly. Mr. Bennett had a massive stroke not long after his wife, Mrs. Bennett, revealed she had breast cancer. Despite undergoing a double mastectomy and radiation therapy, Mrs. Bennett was still saddled with the responsibility of caring for Mr. Bennett, with some help from their sons, Kevin and Adrian, and Michael stepping in when needed. Lisa, their only daughter, was her mother's constant companion, driving her to the city hospital and comforting her during her painful moments. Even after Mrs. Bennett passed away, Mr. Bennett seemed determined to hang on to life. Each day, someone would wheel him into the office where he would curse his useless left hand while struggling to type on his computer. Later, Spencer, Kevin, or Adrian would drive Mr. Bennett home. Over the phone, Michael informed Mr. Bennett that he was done with the Smith's job. Mr. Bennett's response was a series of grunts, barks, and wheezes. Back at home, Michael enjoyed the scent of his favorite meal pork chops, mashed potatoes, and French-cut green beans. After Mr. Bennett's debilitating stroke, Lisa put the Bennett family on a heart-healthy diet. Despite losing 50 pounds, Lisa was still overweight. Michael accused Emily of choosing Harper University just to avoid Lisa's bland cooking, a claim Emily didn't deny. While Lisa was busy at the stove, Michael tried to lean in for a kiss, but she waved him away, pinching her nose. He threw his clothes into the hamper and washed the sweat from his tired body. This job was tough enough when he was 23, and at 50, it was pushing him to his limits and harming his health. Yet Kevin, Spencer, and Adrian didn't seem to care about his struggles. They insisted they couldn't afford to hire help due to the mounting medical bills from Mr. Bennett's rehabilitation. After drying off, Michael ignored the reflection of his fit self in the foggy mirror. Wearing a t-shirt and shorts, he headed downstairs, just as Lisa was setting dessert on his plate. "We've got hot apple pie," she announced, placing a frosted mug and a can of beer in front of him. Oh my God, Michael thought, feeling bile rise in his throat. He remembered the last time Lisa had served him frosted beer, back on her 40th birthday, months before their 20th anniversary. With Emily out with friends, Lisa poured Michael a beer in a frosted mug. He savored the cold drink until Lisa interrupted him, saying, "Darling, there's something I need to talk to you about." Michael stayed silent, as Lisa rambled about nothing in particular. Eventually, he urged her to get to the point as his beer was almost finished. Lisa then revealed that Megan and Logan had an open marriage. She asked Michael if he had ever thought about being unfaithful. "Of course, as a man," Michael admitted, "I've been eyeing that girl Cindy at the gas station." "Ha! Cindy from the gas station? Like you'd ever have a chance," Lisa retorted. "But I'm married," Michael added. "Sure, I look and think about it, but that's where it ends. Did you think I'd take it further? Did you believe you could act without facing consequences?" Lisa pressed on. "I can't," Michael stated firmly. "We're married. We made vows before our family and friends." Finishing his drink, Michael cleaned his mug and said, "We pledge to be faithful and forsake all others, including Cindy from the gas station." "We could renew our vows," Lisa proposed. "No new vows," Michael replied, putting the clean mug back in the cabinet. "Our original vows suffice. While Megan and Logan might have an open marriage, we don't and never will." "But," Lisa began. "No buts." "End of discussion," Michael cut in, leaving the kitchen. He hoped that was the end of it. However, Lisa brought up the topic twice more, each time met with Michael's firm refusal. "But honey," Lisa persisted, "it's a testament to our love. We trust each other enough for this." "Do you even hear the nonsense you're saying?" Michael snapped. "If you think I should let you cheat to prove my love, maybe I don't love you." Frustrated, when Lisa mentioned an open marriage for the fourth time, Michael called her father. Lisa watched the phone ring. "Hello, Mr. Bennett, how are you?" Michael greeted. Lisa's face went pale when she realized Michael was talking to her father. Her discomfort grew when Michael asked for Mrs. Bennett. "Lisa has something to share with you," Michael conveyed. "Lisa, tell your dad about what Megan told you." Reluctantly, Lisa took the phone from Michael. As she tried to stand from the table, Michael firmly restrained her. Feeling cornered, Lisa rambled incoherently before finally ending the call. "You despicable man," she snapped. "Listen, Lisa," Michael warned. "Mention this open marriage idea again and our marriage will end. We'll get divorced." Lisa never raised the topic again, and Michael was relieved. He noticed Megan and Logan, whom he had dubbed the Toxic Twins, visited less frequently. Fast forward a few years, Michael watched Lisa pour his beer, nearly overflowing with foam. She wasn't very skilled at it. "I'll be 45 next Tuesday," Lisa began as Michael tasted his pork chop. "Yes," he acknowledged, swallowing. "During all this time, I've only been with one man," Lisa emphasized. "Lucky for you," Michael quipped. "You've been with what? At least 10 women?" Lisa queried. "Is that fair?" "Life's a tricky game," Michael said, taking a long sip of his beer. "Considering my upcoming birthday and everything I've done for you, Emily, and my folks, I think I deserve a bit of freedom. Megan and I are heading to Las Vegas next week. She found a sweet deal at a casino," Lisa announced. Michael kept eating, but his stomach was starting to churn. "While we're there, we might meet some guys just for a date, nothing serious. It might even make me appreciate you more," she added, almost as if she was daring him to react. "The sauce is almost perfect," Michael commented, trying to keep his cool. "What's your take on it?" she asked, ignoring the obvious tension. "I've told you, it's nearly spoten," Michael responded, his mind racing. "This isn't about the sauce. It's about me branching out and gaining new experiences," she shot back. "So you're saying I'm being unfaithful?" Michael questioned, feeling a mix of anger and disbelief. "I've made up my mind," Lisa declared. "You can either support me or we can get a divorce. Your choice." "I'll start the divorce process," Michael replied calmly. "Hold on, divorces cost a lot." "We can't just dismiss that," Lisa said, looking taken aback. "What's there to discuss? You've clearly made your decision. You and your sketchy cousin are off to Vegas. You're not asking, you've already decided. Forget about our massive bills here. You're off for your big 45th bash and maybe even a date despite being married. You think that's okay?" "I either support this madness or face divorce," he said, pushing his empty plate away. "It's just for 1 week," Lisa defended, as if that made a difference. "A week, a day, a minute. It doesn't change a thing," Michael responded, cutting a piece of pie. "Cheating is cheating, and I won't stay married to a cheater. Maybe you can ask Megan." "Absolutely not," he laughed bitterly. "Lisa, I wouldn't be with Megan if she were the last woman on earth." He tasted the pie and frowned. "Oh, great. You used that aspartame crap, didn't you?" Pushing his plate away, he stood up, wiped his mouth, and walked out of the kitchen. "I'm seeing a lawyer tomorrow to start the divorce," he declared, heading upstairs. The Smith's job was done, and Spencer wasn't planning anything until he got the green light to rebuild the federal savings and loan. "But Michael, you never listen," Lisa called after him. "Sure," he yelled back. "You never heard me. I told you what would happen if you brought this up again. We're getting divorced." In their makeshift office, Michael powered up the old computer. It was slow, but it worked and had internet access. After searching for lawyers, he found Emma Johnson's online form and filled it out. Shortly after, he got a call confirming an appointment with her the next morning at 10. After cleaning up the kitchen, Lisa came upstairs, undressed, and got into bed. When she pressed against him, he pulled away. "No thanks," he said, turning away. "Good night." Michael woke up at 5:30 as usual. Even without work, he kept his routine. Quietly, he left the bed and closed their bedroom door softly. Down in the kitchen, he brewed coffee and checked his email on his phone. There was a detailed email from Emma Johnson's office about what he should bring to the meeting. He considered a second cup of coffee, but decided against it when he heard Lisa moving around upstairs. If she wanted coffee, she could make it herself. No, I told him to give it to me," he heard Lisa's voice from her cell phone as she came downstairs. Seeing him reading the news on his phone, she shrieked and ended her call. "Michael, what are you doing here?" she asked, clearly startled. "Spencer hasn't gotten approval to start rebuilding the federal savings and loan, so I'm free today," he replied. "The grass is too damp to mow, so I caught up on the news. Did you hear? Anderson is considering a second location. You could have saved me some coffee," she grumbled. "You can ask Megan to make you some," he replied, placing his cup in the sink. Emma Johnson, a striking brunette who wore glasses that seemed more for show than necessity, examined their financial documents. "You recently refinanced at 4.5, she noted. "My daughter's in her final year of school," Michael explained. "Plus my in-laws had huge medical bills. Their deductibles were sky high. Then there were funeral costs, and Bennett's was nearly bankrupt. A few projects went over budget because Adrian messed up the timing." "Yes," Emma nodded, reading further. "So, Mr. Bennett, how will divorcing your employer's daughter impact your job?" "I plan to end that relationship," Michael said, a slight smile forming. but Mrs. Bennett's position at the Cedar Park Public Library shouldn't be affected. By Friday, Spencer still hadn't received the go-ahead for the federal savings and loan renovations. Michael was at home finishing up some renovations when Lisa called. "What's this? What kind of scam?" she yelled as he picked up. "Oh, you got the documents," he remarked. "What's the issue with the first-floor bathroom? You said something needs fixing, but I can't figure out the problem," he asked. "The lock is sticking," Lisa replied. "We need to discuss this when I get home." "No, we've already talked about this. Talking hasn't helped, especially when you seem to listen more to Megan than your own husband. So I'm done talking," he said firmly. "All right, I see what's going on. Got it. Goodbye." "But I don't want a divorce," Lisa lamented. "And I don't want to be married to someone unfaithful," Michael shot back. "Anything else?" "No. Goodbye then." He ended the call. When Mr. Bennett's number flashed on the screen, Michael put down his screwdriver and answered. "Hello?" he greeted. Mr. Bennett erupted with a mix of frustrated sounds and curses. Michael was taken aback by the range of swear words, as his father-in-law pressed for details about Lisa and him. "It's pretty simple, sir," Michael began. "Megan and her husband have an open marriage, and they convinced Lisa to consider it too. I made it clear that I have no interest in an open marriage," he said, interrupting Mr. Bennett's emotional outburst. "Your daughter gave me an ultimatum last night: accept it or divorce, so I chose divorce." Mr. Bennett tried to argue, even resorting to emotional manipulation. "Sir, I appreciate your concern," Michael lied, "but this is an issue for your 3 sons and daughter to handle, not me. Besides, why would I want a business that's been losing money for 3 years?" he muttered to himself. Lisa returned home with reinforcements. Michael anticipated this and stayed silent as Megan and Logan voiced their perspectives. "You see, Michael, since we're secure in our marriage," Logan smirked, "Megan can have friendships outside of it." "Exactly," Megan added. "We share everything, no secrets. It's brought us closer." "Well, that certainly brings clarity," Michael remarked. Lisa, Megan, and Logan smiled, thinking they had convinced him. "Actually," he corrected, standing up. "After our divorce, Lisa, you can share your life with whomever you choose." "Oh, what's this?" Logan smirked. "Just because you feel inadequate, Lisa should suppress her talents and desires?" Michael flashed a grin, revealing all his teeth, and strolled to the living room exit, facing the stairs. "If believing that makes you feel better, go right ahead," he said, leaving the room. That night, Lisa tried to initiate intimacy. "Rest up, Lisa. You've got a busy day ahead, don't you?" he said with a grin. As was his routine, Michael woke at 5:30 and left the bed, no longer caring if his movements disturbed Lisa. He descended the stairs, brewed coffee, and sipped it while perusing the news on his phone. He found himself scoffing at the national headlines. "These politicians really should live by their own standards," he muttered. "Lifetime perks? Forget it. Try living on Social Security. Private health care? Nope. Here's the same insurance they've mandated for everyone else." At 11, Logan knocked on the door. Michael answered and he tried to enter, but Michael stopped him with a firm hand. "What's up?" he asked. "I'm here to pick up Lisa for the airport," Logan explained, attempting to enter again. "I'll inform her you're here," Michael said, nudging Logan back and shutting the door. He returned to his recorded sitcom. Shortly after, Lisa descended the stairs with her suitcase. "Why didn't you tell me Logan and Megan were waiting outside?" she demanded. "Oh, right. Logan and Megan are here," he replied, refocusing on his show. "Seriously, must you act so immaturely?" Lisa exclaimed, leaning towards him. He sidestepped, leaving her to kiss the empty air. "We'll discuss this when I return," Lisa stated. "No, we won't," he responded. After watching his sitcom and enjoying a satisfying meal, Michael finished his tasks by painting the front door a pale yellow. It complemented the house's red brick exterior beautifully. He chuckled when their cat, Whiskers, meowed from the garage. "I'll let you out once the paint dries, buddy," he assured the cat. Upstairs, Michael canceled their shared credit cards. He wasn't aware of any cards Lisa had separately, and he had no intention of supporting her indiscretions or her cousin's lavish lifestyle. He accessed Lisa's personal bank account and withdrew half the balance. Similarly, he withdrew half from their joint account, from which he was the sole contributor. Using the bank's website, he opened a new account solely in his name and transferred the withdrawn funds there. Online services facilitated the removal of his name from utilities and cable TV. He shrugged off an email from Cedar Park Power and Light, stating the cancellation would occur at the billing cycle's end. "Doesn't matter," he commented to the screen. "Time for Tony's Pizza," he thought as his stomach rumbled. "Lisa never let me eat there. Maybe you'll drop dead from a heart attack," he mused. He ordered pizza and a draft beer. He flirted with the waitress, even though she was significantly overweight. She smiled, tapping his wedding ring with her long nail. He glanced at the ring, his mood souring. He thanked her, left a tip, and departed. After considerable effort, he removed the ring, placing it in the console cup holder. "Forever love, huh, Lisa?" he mused aloud. Guess that ended today. His truck signaled low fuel. At the gas station, he initially chose 15 worth but decided to fill the tank completely. "Filling 25 gallons sure takes time," he commented as the pump continued to gurgle. He visited a nearby convenience store and found Budweiser beer. Walking past another set of refrigerators, he noticed containers of ice cream. He picked up a pint of chocolate ice cream and brought both items to the counter. Cindy was no longer working there. She had gotten married, much to the disappointment of Michael and many other men who frequented that gas station just to see her behind the counter. However, Sarah Carlyle, a petite brunette now working there, was almost as attractive as Cindy. Michael grinned as Sarah stepped onto a milk crate she had placed by the cash register. Her eyes widened momentarily. Then she burst into hearty laughter, brightening her already pretty face. From then on, she affectionately referred to him as Shorty. "Your wife out of town, Shorty?" Sarah inquired, observing his purchases. "My wife is gone for good," he replied. Sarah glanced at his left hand, then met his eyes. After studying his face briefly, she asked, "So where are you taking me on our first date, Shorty?" "Sarah, as lovely as you are, why would you want to date an old guy like me?" he questioned. Lisa's 45th birthday was on Tuesday. On Wednesday, their daughter Emily called Bennett's Renovation and Remodeling. "Michael speaking," he answered. "Dad, yesterday was Mom's birthday," Emily informed him. "Yes, so?" he responded, scratching his stubbled face. "Why didn't you call her?" Emily pressed. "I didn't want to," he sighed. "I just didn't, kiddo." "Why?" Emily persisted. "You'll understand soon," he replied. "Your mother believes that now that she's 45, she should be with other men." "What?" Emily exclaimed. "What did they teach you in school?" he retorted. "Married women don't date other men." "That's so old-fashioned," Emily laughed. "Goodbye, Emily," he said, ending the call. 10 minutes later, Lisa's number lit up his phone. Despite recognizing it, he answered, "Bennett's Renovation and Remodeling." "Hi, Michael," Lisa greeted tersely. "So how's life at 45, he quipped, trying to maintain a light tone. "This isn't a joke, Michael," Lisa snapped back. "I agree. It's not funny," he replied. "And you're welcome for canceling the credit cards." "Anything else?" he asked, not really interested. "My birthday was yesterday," Lisa pointed out. "Why didn't you call?" "I didn't want to," he replied bluntly. "Maybe whoever you're with would have wished you," he suggested. "Grow up, Michael," Lisa retorted. "Really, Lisa? Adults honor their commitments and respect their vows," he shot back. "Who's Isabella?" Lisa demanded. "Isabella? She married Luke Marquette, the bank manager," he explained. "She's with Gold Standard Real Estate now. She's found a potential buyer for our house." "We aren't selling the house, Michael," Lisa exclaimed. "Can you really afford to be surprised? We have to settle the second mortgage. Isabella said we might need to bring cash to clear that mortgage," he replied. "We are not selling the house," Lisa reiterated, louder this time. "I've already stored all your furniture at the Easy Warehouse on Liberty Road, next to the Chevrolet place, Unit 215. Your dad has the key," he informed her. "Oh Lord, Michael, I need to get home." Lisa's voice quivered with distress. "Your dad couldn't fetch our cat Whiskers, so I took him to Spencer," he continued casually. "Spencer? Oh God, Spencer has those Dobermans," Lisa exclaimed, panic setting in. "Ah, shoot, I didn't think about that," he chuckled. No wonder he was so eager to adopt the cat. Ignoring her pleas, he ended the call, leaving the phone on the kitchen counter and headed upstairs to surf the internet. The phone rang again, but he ignored it. "Maybe your mom's new boyfriend can cover her final school year," he muttered. "Why don't you check for a scholarship for students with a GPA of 2? 1? With that attitude, it's tough to expect your dad to finance your education." After shutting down the computer, he shaved off 3 days of stubble, took a hot shower, and dressed in jeans and a t-shirt. His final act was to discard his cell phone in the trash and wheel the trash can to the curb. "Going to miss you, Michael." Roy, his neighbor, greeted him on the street. "Roy, you won't," Michael laughed, shaking his hand. "The most we ever spoke was when you complained about Emily's boys blasting their music," Roy said to him. "Man, you were the perfect neighbor. Never borrowed stuff. Never asked me to feed your cat or collect your mail during vacations. I bet the next folks will be all over me." "You brought it on yourself being so friendly," Michael remarked. Lisa tried to unlock the front door, but her key didn't fit. She pulled out her phone and dialed the number for Gold Standard Real Estate listed on the sign, staring at it in disbelief. Leah, her phone was fully charged but seemed faulty. Megan lent her cell while Logan checked the windows and doors. Lisa cursed under her breath when the call connected. "Gold Standard Real Estate, Isabella Marquette speaking," Isabella greeted cheerfully. "This is Lisa Bennett," Lisa snapped. "My key doesn't work at my house." "Ah, Bennett's ex," Isabella chirped. "Ex?" Lisa retorted. "I need to sign some paperwork. Guess what? I have clients interested in your home." "It's not for sale," Lisa exclaimed. "So are you buying out Mr. Bennett?" Isabella probed. The Ellingtons might be disappointed. They like the house, too. Lisa reiterated that the house wasn't for sale and called Michael. "You idiot," she muttered as he answered. "Bennett's renovations and remodeling. Can we drop you somewhere?" Logan interrupted impatiently. "My cat," Lisa remembered, squeezing back into the car. "Hey," Spencer answered. "It's me," Lisa said. "Did Michael give Whiskers to you?" "With Poppy, Olive, and Blue around, they'd shred that cat," Spencer snapped. "No, Dad has him. You need to get him. Dad's physical therapist is allergic. Michael's disappearance almost bankrupted us. I secured a federal loan, but had to let Frank take it because none of us can lay ceramic tile." "Who else are you calling?" Megan snapped as Lisa dialed her dad's number. "Don't you have unlimited minutes?" Lisa asked. "Nope, 100 monthly. Mr. Football used most," Megan replied. "Last call," Lisa assured. Ben angrily agreed to let her come over. Logan drove them to Ben's house. Megan and Lisa hugged, and Lisa headed inside. "How was it?" Logan asked Megan as she got in the car. "Disastrous," Megan sighed. "Who'd want her? Not with you around," Logan joked, watching Lisa enter. "Any money from her?" Megan inquired. "Almost," Logan said, pulling out. "Michael, such a pain. Can you hear me?" Megan sounded frustrated. "He canceled her credit cards." "She used her debit," Logan explained. "ATMs are everywhere." "She got about 50, Logan muttered. "We need gas." "With ATMs and the internet, she's fine," Logan reasoned. "Unless your football-obsessed hubby isn't hogging minutes," Megan retorted. "Here's 20, Logan handed Megan. She went online. "What's the connection to ATMs?" Logan inquired, tired as he steered into the gas station. Lisa noticed Michael covered half her bill. "Just grab 10. All right? We still have the electricity bill to cover? Unless you've settled it already," Megan suggested. Logan nodded and entered the convenience store. Megan watched as he glanced at the beer cooler, then honked the car horn. Logan shot her a disapproving look through the store's window, but proceeded to the counter. "I had just gone to get 1 can or so," Logan claimed when he got back. "Just one?" Megan shot back. "When's the last time you settled for just 1 can?" Logan mumbled something about a petite lady, wondering why she had such a prominent chest. "She looks bigger because she's small," Megan corrected, rolling her eyes. "Let's just get the gas," Logan urged, growing impatient. "Fine," Megan relented, still fuming. Meanwhile, Lisa endured her father's angry rant. Since his stroke, Ben's language had become increasingly harsh, and he didn't hold back from using cruel and hurtful words to describe people. "When was the last time you looked in the mirror?" Ben sneered. "You look like a fat pig with a face carved by an ice pick." "Dad," Lisa cried, deeply hurt. "So what if I'm turning 45? "Women turn 45 every day," Ben grumbled. "But not all of them betray their family at 45. He pointed to legal documents scattered on the coffee table. Just then, Whiskers walked into the room. "You'll need a lawyer, and I need to clean the cat litter box," Ben snapped. "Good Lord, I don't know what that cat eats, but it stinks to high heaven," he muttered under his breath. "You're back in your old room," Ben said coldly. "I hope betraying us was worth it. Do you hear me? I hope it was." 45 years old and still making foolish choices. Later that night, lying in her childhood bed, Lisa gazed at the wallpaper she and her mother had chosen when she was 8. Whiskers remained still as Lisa switched off the light, staring into the darkness. The week of her 45th birthday had started on a high note. The flight to Vegas was smooth, and Lisa remembered watching the city lights come to life below them. After checking into their hotel, Lisa and Megan tried their luck at the roulette table before deciding to have dinner. Lisa felt humiliated when the waiter informed her that her credit card was declined. The second card met the same fate. The manager returned with her third card and a stern expression. Thankfully, her debit card went through, but when she checked her bank account, she discovered that her balance had been halved. Both she and Megan blamed Michael Bennett, feeling he had overstepped his bounds. "Come on," Megan urged. "We're in Vegas. We can't let this setback spoil our fun, right?" However, watching Megan lose $500 at the blackjack table dimmed the evening's excitement a bit. "That was my $500, Megan muttered. Lisa struck up a conversation with a handsome young man at a bar, 25-year-old David Carter, and they headed to her room. It was a brief encounter, just 4 minutes. "Lisa," Megan quipped, "you sure know how to pick them." Lisa caught David trying to snatch her wallet from her purse. Megan lamented her 100 daily limit, and Lady Luck wasn't on her side this trip. Lisa joked. Megan's 100 seemed to vanish as soon as she left the hotel room. On Tuesday evening, her birthday, Lisa approached another young man. He smirked and said, "Lady, if I wanted to be close to a 300-pound woman, I'd stay home with my wife." He then suggested a blind convention nearby, mocking her appearance. Feeling hurt, Lisa took the elevator to their room. Seeing the "Do Not Disturb" sign, she groaned and spent hours in the lobby coffee shop. Eventually, she messaged Megan about returning home. Back in her room after a shower, Lisa put on hot lingerie and lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. She noticed Michael hadn't called or texted for her birthday. Emily didn't call either, but she did send a birthday text. Checking her phone, Lisa felt the sting of her husband's neglect. Still, she appreciated the birthday wishes from Spencer, Kevin, and Adrian. The next morning, Megan grumbled about the budget, hinting that she had paid for their flight and hotel. By Saturday, Lisa was contemplating ending her relationship with Megan due to her constant complaints. But with Megan holding their airline tickets, Lisa stayed quiet. Now in her childhood room, Lisa sighed deeply. Her birthday month had been far from a celebration. Grant Williams, recommended by Julian Carter from the Cedar Park Public Library, reviewed the papers from Emma Johnson's office. He then delivered a blunt assessment. He gets half, you get half. The house must be sold, and the profits split evenly. Expenses are shared. Despite his unemployment, he isn't seeking child support, Grant stated. "But I don't want a divorce," Lisa protested. "I don't want to lose my home." "I don't want to, Mr. Williams. It doesn't change the facts," Grant responded. "One person wants a divorce, and that can lead to it." "Can we get a consultation?" Lisa asked. "We can request one," Grant confirmed, and Lisa smiled. "I'll call Johnson's office." Listening to Grant, Lisa glanced at his book titles, hearing mostly uh-huh and hum from him. "All right, Mrs. Bennett, here's the issue," Grant stated, setting his phone on the table. "I'm paying you to avoid issues," Lisa responded, gripping her purse tightly. "Miss Johnson doesn't know where her client is." "Your husband settled her fee and left. She only has his email address," Grant relayed. "Is that essential?" "It's her sole means to reach him. And no, she won't disclose the email. It's protected by attorney-client privilege," Grant clarified. "Oh," Lisa murmured, settling back in her chair. Michael informed Miss Johnson that henceforth, your daughter will cover her tuition and dorm costs, Grant added. He mentioned something about starting new traditions. Do you grasp what he's implying? "No, but I suspect Emily might."